Welcome to biology. In this video, we are going to take a brief tour through the three main regions of a cell. And now, not all cells have the exact same structure, but they all do have these same regions. So the three main regions, the first one is the nucleus. Now the nucleus is the control center of the cell, and that is where the genetic material, or the DNA, is actually stored. So that DNA has the information that's needed to make proteins and all of the other important pieces within that cell. Now around the outside edge of that nucleus is what's called the nuclear membrane. And this nuclear membrane is this barrier, and it keeps all of that DNA inside of the nucleus, so it's not just floating around getting lost, but it also protects it. So it controls what can go in and out of the nucleus. But even within the nucleus, there's this part called the nucleolus, and it's really densely packed, and this is where ribosomes are actually made. The next part of the cell is the cell membrane, which might also be called the plasma membrane, depending on what book you're reading and where you're looking. So the cell membrane is this flexible barrier around the outside of the cell. And this is what keeps all of the cell inside and everything else outside. Just like the nuclear membrane keeps the DNA inside the nucleus and keeps all the other stuff out of it. Now the cell membrane is what's called selectively permeable, and that's a vocab term. So selectively permeable means not everything can go in and out. It controls specifically what can and cannot go through, and a lot of that stuff goes through what are called protein channels, and that's what you can see as these blue blobs in the diagram in the bottom right corner. Now again, the structure and the function of the cell membrane will be talked about in quite a bit of detail later on in this unit. The third region of the cell is called the cytoplasm. Now the cytoplasm contains this stuff called the cytosol. So cytosol is like this gel, kind of liquid portion of the cell. But it also contains all the organelles inside of the cytoplasm. So an organelle is a tiny part inside the cell that does a specific job. Now you might have heard of the analogy of a cell as a city. So a city has this division of labor where you have the Department of Sanitation, the Utilities Department, the Park and Rec Department, and each one of those sections does a specific job to help the city work well. For example, the Sanitation Department removes all the waste, the Utilities Department makes sure you have clean water and electricity, and the Parks and Rec Department, helps make sure that all the landscaping looks nice, that there's recreation activities available for people to do. And together, all of these departments help the city to function well and be a wonderful place to live. Now within a cell, cells also have this division of labor by putting specific jobs or functions within specific organelles. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. So make sure you understand the three main parts of a cell. We have the nucleus, we have the cell membrane, and we have the cytoplasm, but within the cytoplasm, that is the organelles.